Justin Siegel here for the Daily Energy Report with David Ross, the branch chief of the block grants program for the Department of Energy here in Golden, Colorado. David, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about what you do and the role within DOE and how you're focusing right now on the stimulus and ARRA block grants and exactly what the program is.
Sure. The Energy Efficiency Conservation Block Grant Program was actually formed under Bush and funded under the Recovery Act. We got $3.2 billion, of which $2.8 billion was formula grant, and the remaining $400 million was in competitive grants. So basically the top 10 counties and cities in every state got money, including the State Energy Office under formula. They had 14 different activity types that they can choose from, everything from building codes to retrofits to audits, solar, geothermal, wind, that sort of thing. So they were able to prescribe tasks that they were able, a program that fit their needs, which is fairly interesting. So at the point in about, I guess, July 2009, when the Recovery Act came out, the recipients were told that they were going to get this X amount of dollars, and they had to basically come back and say, well, here's what we want to do. Well, 14 or 13 really activities that they chose. Came back, and then we basically approved their program. Not approved, but made sure it fell within the bounds of the federal guidelines. And then basically implementing those programs, making sure they're spending the money, creating jobs, and moving forward to help the energy efficiency, renewable energy economy.
And so how is that coming? What are the results? How much of the money has been obligated and spent? How many kilowatt hours have been saved? How many jobs created? And within those metrics, what are you guys using as the metric that you're judging success of the program on?
We'll take a step back. So I don't have right now the numbers to give you what jobs have been created and greenhouse gas emissions saved, kilowatts saved. I think one of the biggest issues, struggles has been getting the impact metrics with this program. There's, I guess, 15 or 16 different ways through the ASHRAE model to actually calculate energy savings. And various recipients have various levels of understanding, of ways to calculate it. So we had some issues as far as impact. So what we're doing is we went back into some more process metrics. And we're going to, at the end of the program, we're going to basically project out the energy savings based upon certain project components and size of projects to basically extrapolate what the program is at the end. And what was the other piece of the question?
So the metrics for success that you think, when $3.2 billion is spent and we're looking back,
Sure.
What's the metric to judge of did that work?
Did that work? Obviously, we work for, obviously with Congress. And Congress had the intention with the Recovery Act to create jobs, stimulate the economy. And that is a big component, because it is part of the Recovery Act. But when this program was created under Bush, the objectives were a little bit different. And I think, as far as I'm concerned, not necessarily speaking for DOE, but at the end of the program, I would like to see people educated. I'd like to have tools created, lessons learned, best practices. I'd really like to present a portal where recipients get to go, or not even recipients post-ARRA, for the public sector, and basically start, a place where to start, where to find the tools, the manuals, the best practices to kickstart them into actually moving forward. And I think that's the biggest issue with a lot of the recipients is, they want to do something great. They want to do good things. They want to do retrofits. They want to do geothermal. They want to do solar and wind. But a lot of times they just don't know where to start, and they don't have that network to go. So I think one of the big components that we're trying to do is create that sort of legacy document, not to consider a legacy, but really create the tools that allow post-ARRA work to be done, and using DOE website for the place where they start.
So, is there a particular of the grant recipients, a case study that you'd point to, or an example that you can give of, here's what success is looking like, that the money has gone to projects or things that, what can we see and touch and feel that's a result of it?
Basically, in every county and city, most every county and city. For instance, I know Texas has almost 1,100 recipients. Almost every county and city in the state of Texas is getting money from this program. And, you know, each one of these recipients has been impacted. So there's county facilities, courthouses that have been retrofitted, new insulation, these type of things. And there's really energy savings that's come of it. That's reducing the burden of what the county or city or the state has to then use their tax dollars for. So I think that's really at the end of the day, that's the true benefit of what we're doing. Plus, that also has stimulated by seeing the savings. And a lot of counties, as I said, never have seen this before, never done this type of stuff before. And they're not, there's various levels. I mean, you have the state of California and the state of New York who've been very progressive in this type of stuff. And there's other counties and cities that, they just never really thought about it before.
Right.
And so now educating them and actually them seeing the savings come from it, along with also outlining through like portfolio manager, where you get the baseline buildings. That's another initiative that we've been sort of pushing out is having the recipients, not a requirement of our grant, but really trying to get them to put their buildings into portfolio management and able to baseline their buildings to see what buildings are performing, what buildings aren't performing. So it gives them the tools to actually drive forward and make the right decisions on where to invest their dollars in the future.
So, last question for you. The ARRA funds end next year. After that money goes away, does all of the progress from this end? Or how does this sustain and go forward?
I hope not. And I think that's the focus right now for us is what does the future post-ARRA look like? And we've been looking, how do we keep driving forward, giving, as I said, the tools to help the recipients or post-recipients make those right decisions. Setting up the manuals and tools and guidance documents that'll help them get past, move to the next step. And hopefully, we'll be able to actually facilitate through like technical assistance, regional coordination, peer-to-peer networks, that type of stuff, to actually continue the great work that they've done and not let it stop. I think that's our biggest focus as of right now. And we've gotten past, we've spent to date, I think we're about at 54%, 55% of the money's actually hit the street, with also some working capital prior to that, which is typically anywhere from 3 to 6 months where the work has been done, but it takes a while to get the money in and paid off. So, and we've done that in about a year and a half. So that's a pretty big task. So hopefully at the end of this program, what I really would love to see is the lessons learned from this, the best practices pulled together, put in a way that people can actually read and understand it, put some business intelligence to actually be able to search the stuff in a more amicable way on the website. And hopefully at the end of the program we'll be able to, we don't have to actually give grant money, is my hope. We can actually just, by providing the tools and the resources and the communication, have investment back into renewable energy